The collar sleeve omoplata attack system is one of the most important attacks in Jiu Jitsu because it's extremely easy to set up, and also the defenses your opponent has is going to set up so many other attacks. So this video, I'm going to give an easy overview of how to use this system, and then I'm going to show a bunch of sparring footage narrating, explaining me using this in action. And if you guys like this new form of video, be sure to comment and let me know what you would like to see in future videos. And as always, to support the channel, like, share, subscribe. Thanks a lot. Okay, so we're gonna start with our opponent standing, approaching. So I always wanna maintain distance as he approaches because it gives me an extra layer of defense. So often he's gonna have to put an arm forward to do anything. I'm gonna get control of a sleeve. Once I get the sleeve, I'm gonna fall back and put my left foot on the hip here. I like to lean on my side a little bit. Now I'm gonna grab the collar and set my right foot to the bicep. So once we establish the position, I wanna continue to maintain the distance. So my foot on the hip allows me to slide back a bit, as well as my right foot in the bicep allows me to maintain the position. If my opponent tries to loop my foot, I want to always re-pummel back to the bicep or the armpit. Sometimes they'll successfully loop it and trap it. If I cannot get it back to the bicep, I'm going to let go of the collar, loop my foot over, push on the shoulder, set the foot back to the bicep, and then I come back to the hip and grab the collar again. So now that we've established the position, I'm gonna try to get my shin on the inside of his elbow space. If I'm on the outside and he pulls his elbow tight, I can no longer go in for the omoplata. So now I'm gonna get my shin inside. Now when he pulls his elbow tight, he can't get my leg back out. So from here, I'm gonna kick my leg straight through, push his neck away so I keep the distance, throw the leg over for the omoplata, and from here, I'm gonna start scooting away and try to sit up to break his posture and go for the finish. So sometimes our leg gets pushed off the hip, or we just can't get inside that space. So in this situation, his knee is gonna be bent because he's connecting his elbow and knee. So now I get as much space as I can and I put my de la Riva hook in. I want my foot as close up to the hip as I can get. From here, it's very easy to start off balancing him backwards. Sometimes I can take him all the way down for a sweep, but often when I off balance, he's gonna open his arm to catch his balance, and this opens the arm up again for the omoplata. Again, I scoot out, sit up, and go for the finish. So in this situation, we get the hook, he's hard to off balance backwards. I'm gonna keep my foot in the bicep and I lean to my right and try to off balance him forwards. Here, often he'll open this elbow knee space. I can go straight for the omoplata, or if nothing else, I can set my foot back on the hip, push out for the distance, get my shin back inside, and continue the attack. One more sequence is when I knock him over, if he falls all the way down, sometimes when he tries to come back up, he'll expose the foot back on the hip, which allows me to then set the shin back inside and continue with the original attack. All right, guys, so now I'm gonna narrate me using these techniques in sparring. Be sure to comment and let me know if you guys are using the system and any problems you're having so I can answer it in future videos. Okay, so this first clip here, I'm starting with single sleeve control with my left hand. I switch up to the collar once I get my foot on the hip. He tries to pummel my leg, and actually what I do here is when he's standing really square stanced, I'm gonna use my right leg as like a knee shield to help get more space to set that de la Riva hook. Once I set the de la Riva hook, now I reset my foot in the bicep. This makes it possible for me to get the omoplata, because if I don't have it there, he can push it down. So now I get that de la Riva hook, I off balance him to the left just a little bit, and I throw the omoplata on. I follow through and I do a roll through here, and I'm a little sloppy and he slides out. So now I initiate with the first collar grip. Again, I'm always backing up, maintaining space. I use that knee shield as he enters to set space back, off balance him to my right a little bit. I establish the sleeve control. Now I'm back on the collar. Again, I have the de la Riva hook in. Now I have my right foot back in the bicep and I get the omoplata. This time I catch the leg, I sit up on top first and then roll back through, come up and get the finish here. And the next sequence, I have a sleeve grip on the opposite side first, and then I transition to the other side. Again, I set the space with the collar and that knee shield. I get a knock over here, and as he comes back up, I can set my foot back on the hip there. It's a hard angle to see it, but now you can see I got the foot on the hip. Again, I get my shin on the inside of that space. I kick through, get the omoplata. He tries to roll through again. I immediately block that leg with my left arm, roll on top. In this position on top here, you can transition into a lot of different attacks. I did a video overviewing the omoplata before. I'll put the link in the description, and I show some of these systems that I use here. So I end up rolling back through and I come back up to a classic omoplata finish here. So now, again, we're in guard retention. I'm maintaining distance. You can see I kind of have my head pulled back. I'm keeping my feet active, trying to push him off here. I end up establishing the sleeve on the right side this time. I get the foot on the hip, I got the collar, I set that space, immediately go for the omoplata. And again, the distance helps make this strong, but I think I rushed coming up too quick, so he rips out again. Again, I get the same sleeve. I try to set some space. He traps the leg, I lasso. Now I'm pushing on the shoulder again. I get the De La Riva hook, set the space, create that off balance, and now again I got the omoplata. I get my arm. I like this grip here on the hip sometimes instead of over the back because it gives you a pressure to come up. Now once I get my arm over the back, it's really hard for him to recover. And I think I just again go with a classic finish here. Yep. Now again, we're in the grip fight. I set the right foot on the hip. Now I'm trying to go to a De La Riva hook. He ends up trapping that leg again. I switch to a spider hook, and now here I actually end up switching my left hand to the sleeve. So I do double sleeve for a second and switch my left hand to the far sleeve, and now I'm back in on the other side. I had the foot on the hip. He used his shin there for a second to knock my leg out, and now I use a knee shield again. I get that foot back on the hip, set the foot in the bicep, and now we go back to the De La Riva hook series. This time I switched to a finish I learned from Cobrinha back in the day, where I take my outside arm and I grab the lapel, and when he rolls through, it actually locks him in. It makes it really easy to switch to finish with the arm bar. Again, in that other omoplata video, I discussed that. So here again, we're grip fighting. I'm using my shin to kind of keep him back, always maintaining space. Use that shield, I set the foot on the hip, back up. And this is a really cool move, is whenever they get really low like this, it becomes a lot easier to threaten the loop choke. So I threatened the loop choke once here, he rolls out of it. And now when he comes back up, they tend to keep their head up a little more. He tries to fall back to his guard. And actually, since I end up getting that De La Riva hook, I can still kind of rip that omoplata out of the position just by dragging and extending the De La Riva hook. And I force the omoplata. Again, I keep that collar grip and I can come around for that nice armbar finish. Again, starting from the grip fight, using my feet on the shins to keep space. I go double sleeve for a second here. I get the collar, set the space back with that shin. I'm gonna do a whole video on that knee shield here at some point soon. So again, I set space with that, get the foot in the bicep, and then now I got the space for the omoplata. And now you're actually gonna see that finish I was discussing, where when I come on top, instead I actually sit and stay on top and he tries to grab my far leg, I pull my knee to my chest and it's a really sneaky arm bar you can hit right there. All right guys, hope you liked that video. If you guys are more interested in the collar sleeve system, I have an entire instructional up on my website, www.johnthomasbjj.com. I put the link in the description. Be sure to check it out there. And as always, like, share, subscribe to help support the channel. Thanks.